Audible. Back in the days, I was quiet, never said much. And now my life is on a mic, and yeah, I said much. I'm on the path to success I needed. Life is a game, and yes, I just beat it. I'm a man.
No, you're not, Audible, from 2007. You are not a man. What a way to start the podcast. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I want to enter every episode. That I hope that worked. That was a song I called Outro Acoustic to the Thugs Mansion remix beat. And it's so funny because I was like 17 at the time, about to have Victoria, and I legitimately thought I was like so grown up and I just knew everything, and I was just so ignorant, and I really had no idea what I was talking about. What's up, everybody in chat? What's up to everybody listening on Spotify and Apple Music and Transistor or wherever else you guys are listening to the podcast? I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Happy Sunday. It's November 3rd, 2019, and we have a lot to talk about. This week has been a very eventful one for me. But very, very up and down, mostly up. And even when it got down, it wasn't too down. And we're going to get into all that right now. But real quick, I do want to mention our sponsors. DaKidAwMe, dude's been supporting for months and maybe years, and he's a good friend. I appreciate him so much. If you guys are interested in checking out his stuff, he actually makes beats. Like if you rap, or if you need beats for the back of your YouTube videos or anything like that, you can check him out. All the links will be in the description of the podcast and the YouTube video. Along with that, we're actually sponsoring a book called Conscious Manifestation, written by Sulema Pimentel. Conscious Manifestation is an ebook written by Sulema Pimentel. As this ebook teaches you how to consciously connect to your higher spiritual self, and then from that aligned state, it shows you how to consciously manifest the life that you want. This book is a quick read, it's to the point, and it shares a lot of golden wisdom that can change your life for the best. To get this book, you can purchase it on Amazon for only $3.99. Just search Conscious Manifestation, and the author is Sulema Pimentel. If you'd like to further connect with the author, you can find her at sulemapimentel.com and follow her on social media at I am Sulema. Links to the book will be in the description of the podcast and the YouTube video. Thank you so much to those guys. You guys don't even understand. And before I get into the week and what's been going on with me, I guess this is kind of like the major this is another huge thing that happened this week. And it really, 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 I feel like it's something that is gonna launch everything that we're doing here to another dimension. I basically got an anonymous donation investment from an anonymous supporter and it was, I don't even have words for it. It was a blessing is really what it was. Somebody who has showed who's been listening to the music since Reefer Madness, like 10 years ago, who silently watched the content and watched my story from then until now, and decided to email me and not only show his support with a generous donation, but also with just showing that people care and really had kind words to say. And when I read this email and seeing all this was happening, I was at work and I had to legitimately step away because it was gut wrenching. It was, the financial part is one thing, but for somebody to legitimately just put themselves out there and just to say straight up, like, I don't even want to be mentioned. This is not a sponsorship. It's, I just want you to be able to do things that you normally couldn't or whatever. It was a blessing. It really was. So huge fucking thank you to you, man, and to everybody else who supports but particularly you, man. Like, really, that was a huge moment for me. And It feels really good to know that there's like actually people out there who give a fuck. And even though, like, damn, I'm like over here getting choked up. Like, even though sometimes I feel like, I'm stuck or like I'm doing all this for nothing, you know. Sometimes, you know, I get messages or I get things like that, and it means a lot. So thank you, man, for real, because you really did me a huge favor and my family a huge favor, and it doesn't go unnoticed, and you won't regret it. And just thank you for the support. So thank you so much to him. If we can get some hype in the chat for the anonymous supporter who's probably listening now, and I thank you, man. It was so crazy when it happened because I was like sitting there at work and I was just like, what the fuck? It didn't feel real. Like I had to like really feel like wonder if like I was dreaming, because sometimes I have dreams like that. But so this last weekend, or was it the weekend? Yeah, I think it was Friday or it was Thursday night. Was Halloween 2019. And as most of you guys know, I haven't drank, or I hadn't drank, and I think on Halloween night it was like 47 days with no alcohol, and I was feeling really, really good about it. You know, I really was, and I wasn't even really considering drinking on Halloween night, like at all. And to be completely honest, like I got in a conversation with somebody who I really respect and care about, and the way the conversation went, it made me feel bad, as if like I was like changing things, and almost like it was affecting the people around me. And I know that sounds so stupid, but in the moment, and even to the person who I talked to, they know like, oh, that was stupid. That's not what I meant. But this is kind of how I was taking it. Like, damn, maybe it was a trick in my mind, but I took it like, damn, I've been this person for so long, and it's almost not fair to the people around me to just all of a sudden change like that, you know, to all of a sudden become this different person. And in that, I just kind of started to realize like, or I thought I started to realize like, damn, maybe I'm just getting too in my head, and I convinced myself to go buy a couple beers. And instantly, maybe not even instantly regretted it, but I regretted it. I bought the beers, I brought them home, put them in my fridge, thought about not even drinking them, but I did. After 47 days of no alcohol, I had 2 IPAs. I bought 2 Stone IPAs. And I know, that ain't shit. I understand that. Trust me, do I fucking understand that 2 beers is nothing, and I shouldn't be feeling like shit about it. I understand. I get it. It's nothing compared to the issues that a lot of people go through with, you know, dealing with opioid addictions and legitimate alcohol addictions. And I'm also not trying to delegitimize my issue either. I don't want to do that either, but I don't want to come off like a crybaby bitch, you know, whatever. Because I do understand there's much worse. Anyways, upon drinking the first beer, first few drinks actually were delicious. Then, as I started finishing the first one, I started getting these old familiar feelings of just, like, I don't know, like this physical feeling of just feeling like shit. It just started reminding me of those super drunken nights I've had for so long, and wondering why I'm so sad all the time and why I can't seem to just figure shit out. And I feel like it was because I was just I wasn't addicted to drinking to where I needed to drink every day or even more than maybe 2 times a week. But I was addicted to when I got that taste of alcohol to keeping it. And in those moments, the only thing that would just help was just continuing to drink. And in fact, as it was helping, it was not helping. It was doing the opposite effect. It's kind of complicated, you know, whatever. Then I had the second one, and that's when I really started to get these familiar feelings. It's like, damn, I want to go to the store and get more. I want to continue to drink. I want to, fuck this. Why did I give this up? Like, I just need to keep drinking. I need to quit being a bitch. And then I finished my second beer, and I was playing Fortnite, so I was kind of like not really fucking worried about it. I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just kind of chilling. Like, I was preoccupied. I was distracted from what was truly going on in my head. Then once I realized my second beer was about to be done, I started feeling those old familiar feelings. I wanted to drink more. So I got off of Fortnite, finished the beer, and looked around, and I felt like shit, man. I just started feeling horrible about myself. Like, I failed. I tried to even stream. I tried to do a stream here, and it was like maybe 3 minutes long. And I couldn't even do it. I looked at myself take a drink of beer and tried to justify it to whoever was watching and saying, I'm sorry, I let you guys down. And I had to just end the stream instantly because of how like lame I felt and how much of a failure I felt like. But as time went on that night, I started feeling like shit. And you guys could read this in my tweets. If you guys don't follow my Twitter page, you should. If you really want to know what's going on with me on a day-to-day basis, follow me on Twitter, because I will spout like the darkest, deepest shit possible, the darkest shit in my brain. And it all goes on my Twitter page. I use that as like a journal. So if you guys are interested, follow me on Twitter. But I just really started to feel like a failure. And like I let a lot of people down. And then that started just threw me right back into these negative thought loops, And it's crazy because it's not even really the alcohol, that I think was doing it. I mean, yeah, definitely that obviously has something to do with it. But I only had 2 beers. It's not like I was so drunk that I couldn't fucking control my thoughts and I was just fucking losing my mind. That's not what it was. It was just that the fact that I drank, even though I didn't want to, even though I knew I was going to regret it, even though I knew, all these things, that I just still did it, felt horrible. So I tried to go to bed. And at the same time, I had just started a break from smoking weed. If you follow my Instagram or my Twitter, you'd know. I was on like 3 or 4 days I was on 4 days, no smoking weed. And I was kind of in a place where I didn't know if I was going to smoke weed like for a while, and I kind of just got, I don't know. I felt really good without smoking for a while. And I think that's great. I think it definitely is a beautiful thing. I don't want to get distracted with the weed thing. We'll talk about that right now, but being like in such a negative space. And then I smoked while I was drinking. I rolled a blunt and then I hit it a few times. And it was shitty fucking weed. And 2, I didn't even roll it right. And it just felt gross. I just felt like so desperate. So desperate, man. And to try to sum this drinking night up real quick, because there's other things that I want to mention. I eventually at like 4 or 5 in the morning told myself, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Because I started researching relapses and stuff like that. And I started to really read like people's stories and like and I started realizing how insignificant my issue is, and how much people are going through worse things. Like I read stories about people who like relapsed on alcohol and they went on a 2-week binge, came home to find their family not there. People who have woken up in the hospital, people who like have gone in and out of legitimate rehab centers and can't seem to shake their habits. And it started like, damn, I just really put things into perspective for me and helped me grow up and helped me get the fuck out of my head, because I am a good person. And I had to tell myself that, like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you're like, so I don't give myself enough credit, like I really don't. Like I legitimately made YouTube videos for fucking years because I wanted to help people. It might have started off because I just wanted to be cool. That's why I started rapping. I've realized that lately. That's why I started rapping and making music, because I just wanted to be cool. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to seem like I was cool. But in time, I started to realize like, wow, I can really help people. I can affect change. And that's a big reason why this YouTube channel is where it's at, or why it became a thing, because I started to realize, like, damn, just by talking about my experiences honestly, I can help people. And that felt good. So I had to tell myself to shut up, and just, like, I don't know, get over it. So I got up and started cleaning my house at 4 or 5 in the morning, cleaned my entire house. My wife was really drunk from the night before. Well, she wasn't actually really drunk. She was feeling like shit because she took like a sleeping pill, and I forget. Yeah, she took a sleeping pill or something like that. Well, actually, no. She took another type of pill, not a sleeping pill. Something to help with her digestion, basically. I don't want to put too much of her shit out there. And by the way, my wife will be on the episode next week. I know everybody's waiting for her, but she'll be on next week, 100% for sure. Okay, we talked about it. So, yeah, I got up and cleaned, and my wife was up because she wasn't feeling good. And I just kind of like looked at her and just talked to her a little bit and just realized, like, okay, everything's going to be okay. And I started to remember, like, oh, like, I remember what it's like when I get over being drunk, or like I'm hungover, or I want to not be drunk anymore. Like, I get really inspired. And I started getting that feeling like, oh, I can't wait to wake up so I can start working and I start doing shit. And I just kind of told myself, go to sleep. But I couldn't go to sleep. I just couldn't. I physically couldn't. So I told myself, I already smoked weed. I already smoked that blunt. I might as well go pack a bowl. I packed a bowl, took a few hits, knocked the fuck out. I realized that definitely weed can be addicting. It does have addictive traits to it. Whether people want to fucking admit it or not, it's the fucking truth. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I feel like it kind of pisses me off because I grew up with so much propaganda about how weed is like a miracle drug. And don't get me wrong, it is. And I'm not talking shit about weed, but I'm talking shit about the people who think that there's no addictive properties to it and there's no fucking downsides to it. There absolutely is. And if you don't think so, you can suck my fucking dick. That's so fucking such bullshit and such a lie. And I'm sorry if I'm getting kind of hype, but it is. It's bullshit. There is something wrong with smoking weed all day, every day. Absolutely. And if you don't fucking think so, then you're probably caught up in the bullshit of thinking that there's nothing wrong with it. Or maybe there is people out there who can smoke weed every fucking day, but not for everybody. Smoke weed all day, every day. Whatever. I don't know. I don't fucking know. For me personally, I fucking tend to get lazy. I tend to get fucking like demotivated. I tend to get way too much in my head and be negative about myself if I smoke too much. I tend to get reliant on it. I use it as a crutch, and it's bullshit. And it pisses me off that there are people out there who try to act like because somebody wants to stop smoking weed or take a break that they're fucking tripping and there's something wrong with them. Bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And it pisses me off because this last like 4 or 5 days or whatever the fuck when I'm trying to take a break, I got so many comments and so many people responding like, I don't see anything really wrong with weed, or, oh, you must be tripping, or nah, you just need to keep smoking. Like, shut the fuck up. You don't know shit about me. You don't know what the fuck I'm dealing with. And I wouldn't say that to anybody about anything. And for you to fucking say that and pretend you're being a supporter about it, you're fuck you. You know? Fuck you. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. It's such bullshit, man. It's such a lie. And it's like I lied to myself. Documentaries, like, I don't know how many documentaries talk about it, but I feel like there's just such this weird thing that there's no addictive properties to smoking weed. But there's addictive properties to fucking working out. There's addictive properties to having a cup of coffee. There's addictive properties to cleaning your fucking kitchen. Like, shit. That's my first hit of the day. Since that night, I've been smoking weed mostly at night. I will not smoke weed during the day when I know I have things to do. That is using it as a crutch. That is inebriating myself when I don't need that. What I need to understand is there's a time and a place to smoke weed. Okay? There's a time and a place for me. And I know I got a little too hype right now and I'm apologizing. Or I apologize. But for me personally, there has to be a time and a place to smoke weed. And I have to understand that. And I need to use it as a medication. Because I don't need to use it as a medication. I'm sure there's other medicines that I could use, but I feel like this is the healthiest way. Okay? And that's a part of me growing up. I feel like that's a part of it. Is it doesn't really necessarily, I keep thinking that I need to keep taking things away from myself to help me grow up. You know, I feel like I just need to keep cutting things out of my life to help me be better. But in fact, that's not all I need. I also need to add things to my life. I need to be better and do more. It's not just about cutting things out. I need to learn more too. I'm starting to figure things out slowly but surely, you know? It feels good. I love that I fucking took a hit right after talking all that shit. That was beautiful. So yeah, that night I drank. Next day I felt like shit about it, but you know what? I woke up, I uploaded a video here to my YouTube channel. I thought about making it into a short podcast, but no, I guess that's what this is. And I just felt like, okay, you know, like like even that night before I fell asleep, I realized I don't want to fucking drink no more. I'm done. I didn't like how 2 beers made me feel. I'm not going to like how more than 2 beers make me feel. And I'm just done. It's crazy because like in doing all this research for relapses and stuff, I saw that sometimes you need to relapse to really know if you're done or not. And I know now that I just don't want to fucking drink anymore. I just don't like the way it feels because I'm not in a good place in myself to be able to drink and be able to like be okay with it. And that's okay. Like I'm fine with that. I'm not sad about it. I don't miss it. Like I did in a little bit, but I really, at this point, I don't fucking miss it. And it's so crazy because it's like, for so long, I just enjoyed drinking so much. And now I'm just at a place where I just don't. And I just don't want to. And it sucks because I'm starting to realize like how bad alcohol really is. And how many times I hear, yeah, fuck alcohol. Alcohol is poison and shit like that. And it's just like, I've always been like, oh God, oh God, oh God, you know? But it's so true. For most people cannot drink alcohol healthily. Most people can't. And it's such bullshit because literally the worst drug in the world is legal. And you can buy it anywhere. It's so crazy. It does nothing. A social lubricant. That's it. Like, what the fuck? Alcohol, I guess maybe it can help with creativity. Maybe. What other fucking pros are there? What other fucking pros are there? I don't fucking get it. Like, I don't get it. And it's not like I don't want to talk shit or come off like I'm being rude or disrespectful to people who drink, because there are people out there who can handle alcohol and enjoy it. And that's not what I'm talking about here. But for most people, and from my perspective, it does nothing but harm people. And it's become like this cultural thing where people get together and they're like, oh, where's the beer? Let's take some shots. And it's like, you know, trust me, I'm talking shit because I was in it. I know what it is and what it's not. Okay. Like, It's a weird cultural ritual that we've grown to just be a part of. It's a customary thing that when we're chilling, when we hang out with people, even strangers, we have a drink. And you know what? That's probably one of the pros too. You hang out with the stranger, you go to a business meeting or something like that. You guys have a glass of wine. That might actually be a pro. That might be a really good pro. But is that pro worth all the fucking cons? All the people who have died and killed people in cars and fucking drunk themselves to losing their families? Like, I don't fucking think so. I don't fucking think so. That is such bullshit and the biggest fucking lie that we've told ourselves as a society in 2019 and for years and years and years. It's a fucking bullshit ass cultural lie that we tell our kids. We give our kids a drink of a beer when they're 16 because we want to see what they think it tastes like and shit like that. And it's just fucking bullshit. And I'm sorry if I'm getting too hyped this podcast or whatever, but I'm pissed kind of because I feel like I've been lied to so fucking much and I wasted so much of my fucking life thinking a certain fucking way. But you know what? I also learned a lot. I also fucking learned a lot. And maybe I had to go through all that bullshit to sit here in a fucking podcast and talk to 18 people live and tell them that sometimes everything isn't what you think it is. And sometimes you're lied to by the people you trust the most. And sometimes they don't even know they're lying to you. It's all fog. It's all fucking smoke and mirrors. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of time until you can really start to even clear your way through. And it's insane to me. It's insane. I'm the drug guy. I'm the smoke something, drink something guy, you know? And I'm sitting here talking about this, but because you know what I am before I'm all that shit, I'm a real ass fucking person. And I will be real 100% on every YouTube video you see. There are very, very minor, small things that I won't talk about on videos. And that's only out of the respect for the people around me. But going forward, and what I've always done is remain real. And if I feel like I've been fucking lied to about drugs or I've been lied to about alcohol or smoking weed, I'm gonna fucking say it. And I've been lied to about smoking weed, doing drugs, and drinking alcohol for a long time, and still have all of you. And I'm growing up. And this is a good fucking medium for me to be able to talk about it because I can't fucking yell in my own house alone. Then I'm just crazy. But fuck, sometimes it fucking pisses me off. Years, dudes, years I've spent partying and it's just like, damn, it pisses me off that I feel like I fucking wasted so much time sometimes. God damn it, dude. It's so fucking annoying and frustrating sometimes. Like, how stupid of a person I was. Just like in the beginning of this podcast when I showed that little bit snippet of that song, I had no idea what I was fucking talking about. I think I say something about like I just beat life. I just lived life. I just beat it. I'm a man. Shut the fuck up. It's 2007 Audible. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? It's so funny because me and my boy Danny were talking about. Like he was like, damn, like, cause me and him are kind of like, you know, me and a couple of my friends are legitimately growing together. They're a little bit, I'm not saying behind me. They're just, you know, they're kind of like starting to understand that I'm low key kind of know what I'm talking about. And I'm maybe going down a good path. Right. So a couple of my friends are starting to like kind of realize like, damn, yeah, maybe this isn't right. And it's beautiful. I love that. I love that I can fucking help them. And, you know, and I try to tell them as much as I can, like, I'm in the middle of all this, dude. I don't know what is right and what's not. And my friends and I. I'll see you guys in chat. Anyway, so I'm talking to my boy, and my friends and I are doing a lot of self-improvement or talking about it a lot. But he was talking about like, damn, sometimes we just sound like pussies. Like, don't you think so? I'm like, yeah. I said, but you know what? That's just the little boys in us telling us that. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I was like, really, what it is? I was like, those little boys were pussies. I was like, because they were just as sad as we are. And just as in our head as we are right now. But all they did was fucking get drunk and do drugs and act like they didn't feel shit and they weren't honest about it. But now we're growing up and we're becoming men so we can be honest about it like real motherfucking men and grow up and become better. That's when you're not a little bitch anymore, when you're honest with yourself. It's not about fucking saying you can do whatever. That's a little bitch right there. That's the little bitch, not me. It's funny because he said, what do you think those guys would say to us? I was like, I don't give a fuck what that little guy would say to me. The 18-year-old self, me, what he would say to me. And I was like, I don't give a fuck what he'd say. I'd beat that little skinny motherfucker's ass. I was like, fuck that fool. I was like, he has a punchable face, little skinny, no neck having bitch. Like, fuck him. He doesn't know what's going on in his head. He's a piece of shit to everybody around him. Fuck him. I would love to punch him in the face myself. It's so crazy though. It's like, God damn it, dude. I wasted so much fucking time. This podcast wasn't supposed to go this way, okay? And I don't even care. Like, whatever. Maybe this is what it needs to be. Me just screaming at the fucking world in a fucking positive way. Think about it. Think about the person you were 10 years ago. Do you like that person? Most of the time you don't. And that's because we continue to get better. We grow. And it's like, you wonder why there's old heads, right? Why we always hated the old heads as young kids. But do you ever think that they might know something about what they're talking about? Not all of them. Some of them are just douchebags. I'm not saying that just because you get older, you become better. That's not fucking true. I've seen fucking, there's drug addicts out there that are 60 years old. They've been in the streets forever, That's not always what it is, but for some people it is. And I think that if you're the type of person who's on my channel right now, like, and you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast up until 40 minutes into it, then you probably kind of have a head on your shoulders and you kind of feel me and what I'm talking about. And that means that you probably are the type of person who can get better. And I think it's up to us to help others to improve. That's what kind of like what life is, what being a human is. We make things better because we just are constantly trying to be better and do better. We love, we share, we share food, we share fucking water and shelter, and community is one of the most important things. And when it comes down to it, like, we need to understand that. And community is not running down the street with flyers saying that Jesus loves you. I mean, that's a form of it, but for most of us, community is just texting our friend like, hey, how are you? Are you good? Hey, hitting somebody up when you're stoned and being like, hey, dog, like, do you ever think about like maybe we should be doing something with our lives, Or, hey, man, don't you think maybe you shouldn't be talking to that person, Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Well, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore, man. Being brutally honest sometimes is a part of being a good person. Sometimes you got to tell somebody what they don't want to hear if you really care about them. Even my wife talked about this week too. It's like sometimes I feel like a lot of people in my family are really, really afraid of confrontation. And that leads to a lot of issues within my family that nobody wants to fucking talk. Nobody wants to conversate and talk about their feelings and be like, hey, that pissed me off. Can you not fucking do that shit again? Everybody's just so like don't say nothing. When my mom is super drunk and being crazy, nobody says something but nothing but me, maybe my sister. And I'm not saying that my mom gets drunk and crazy. That's not what I really mean. But she's had her moments, just like all of us had. Okay, that we say that. I don't want to throw my mom under the bus. I love her. My mom is actually here living with us right now. So just so you know, like she's actually here, and we opened our home to her, and she's gonna be here for a few months. So that's another way I'm doing my best to help. I don't even know if I was supposed to talk about that, but yeah. So. But yeah, in my family, sometimes I feel like a lot of them, and even me, in the beginning are so afraid of confrontation and just don't want, I think it's not necessarily out of fear, but mostly out of not wanting to have awkward moments or whatever. But sometimes you need to have awkward moments. Sometimes you need to be mean. Sometimes you need to tell somebody something they don't want to hear for them to grow and you to grow. And it's like, damn. And then if you're the first person to start doing it, then you get looked at like an asshole. Then you get looked at as the person who's being an asshole to their family. And it's such bullshit. All right, Bubba, you have a good one, man. And I have been looked at like that. And I've probably overdone it in the past. I have overdone it in the past. Like there were moments in the past where like I had issues with like my I'm gonna be fucking honest. Fuck it. I was we were all living in my apartment I had, me and my mom, my brother, my wife, my kids, my other little brother. And there were issues that I had with certain things that my brother was doing at the time. And I think the biggest issue I had was that he would like show up in the middle of the night and then bounce in the middle of the night and like the doors would be unlocked and I had my kids in the house and shit like that. I think I had issues, normal issues that you're going to have if you're in a close knit family, but I was the first person to talk about things. I was the first person to actually bring it up and be like, hey, can you not that? Or, hey, let's not do this. And then I got looked at like, what? And maybe I did overdo it, and I was a dick about it. I probably was. I didn't do it the right way, probably, but I started becoming like an asshole in my family, and I hated it. And I felt like bad, and I resented it. But I also did it wrong, and I was a child, and I think that at whatever age I was, like 22 or 23, or if that, maybe something like that. It might have been even 25 or something. It wasn't that long ago. No, like 24. I don't know. Even at that age, I felt like I started to understand, like, okay, we need to have these discussions and we need to quit being afraid about it. But I just didn't know how to go about it the right way, But yeah, I love my family so much. I really do. And it's like, even just saying that out loud, it just takes a lot out of me because for the longest time, I became this introverted person. I made an album 2 years ago called The Return of the Introvert, and that it was like the perfect explanation of where I was and where I've been and where I don't want to be anymore. And it's a mindfuck. And that's why the new album will be called Mindfuck and out before the end of the year. And it's actually kind of like a part 2 to The Return of the Introvert. And you'll know what I mean when I release it. I'm like, I like, that just took so much out of me and I feel so much better. It feels so good. It feels so good to talk about this shit. Just scream like that. Wow. But like I said, I love my family. And because I was so introverted and I was so messed up, I started to really like not understand how much I really care about my brothers and sisters and mom and my dad and stuff like that, I think I just built up all this crazy resentment, at least for my parents, because of issues we had. Like they got divorced when I was like 7th grade. And then, I had this, damn, I wonder if I could tell that story. I can't really, I won't tell it right now, but there was a crazy moment that happened with my mom and my dad. And I was thrown in the middle of it all as a child. And it was something that has taken me years and I'm still not over it. I still fucking am pissed off about it because I've never been apologized to. And because I've never been like, it's never been fucking like even like acknowledged by at least one, side of the issue. And I don't know. Even in this moment, I know it's wrong, but I feel like I can't let go of that resentment because I feel like I deserve an apology and like at least some sort of acknowledgement that they fucked up, Anyways, damn, we're getting into some deep ass shit here, but I don't know. I'm just starting to grow up. I'm starting to see that life is not what you think it is. That you probably have not only been lied to, but been lying to yourself. And I just wish that I could just share that with you guys as best I can. And I guess I am. I wish I knew how to do it the best way. And maybe, who knows, maybe this fucking podcast is a good way for me to fucking start talking about some real shit, not having a fucking, I don't know. I'm just sick of bullshitting around. I'm sick of fucking lying to myself, and I'm sick of being a bitch. And I am flooded with inspiration, not only from the anonymous supporter and sponsor that we have of the podcast, but also because of the music I'm making, also because I'm not drinking, also because I'm like starting to understand that I can smoke weed, that it's okay. Like that really just was, there's no reason for that. There's no downsides really to smoking weed. Yeah, you can get really demotivated, and a lot of things can get fucked up. A lot of things can get fucked. There are downsides to weed. A lot of things can get fucked up, but if you use it responsibly, then it's okay. And maybe that's the same thing with alcohol, but I know 100% that I can't use alcohol responsibly. I still do believe that I can smoke weed responsibly. That's the difference there. And I think growing up is the understanding that you can control something or you can't. And I know that I can't control my alcohol at this point in my life. And I'm choosing to let go of it. I'm choosing to continue to smoke weed because I do believe that I can do it responsibly and control it. And if I get to a point where I feel like I'm not doing it responsibly and I'm not controlling it the right way, ever again, then maybe it will be time for me to cut it off completely. But I don't want to do that. So like out of fear of getting to that point of smoking irresponsibly, because I'm so afraid of that and not being able to smoke, I will be responsible. It's almost like, I don't know. It's like, I want to be able to smoke weed on occasion, so I won't smoke it frequently. Yeah. It's a beautiful medicine, man. It really is. It helps my wife when she's sick. It helps my mom go to sleep. It helps my grandma with pain. It helps my dad with anxiety. Mostly I'm talking about CBD, but still, it is beautiful. And I need to stop getting caught up in the fog and just fucking lay some solid groundwork for who I want to be. Lay some solid foundation for who I am and where I want to go and going forward, what my fucking values are, because I've held on to such bullshit values, and that's all I need to do, and I need to change that. I need to learn to give a fuck about what deserves to be given a fuck about, and not give a fuck about what doesn't deserve it. And I'm just understanding that book more and more and more. Family is always value number one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Man. I'm getting chills and shit, guys. I hope you guys are with me, and I hope you guys understand, and I hope you guys can learn from whatever the fuck I'm talking about right now, because yeah. You guys want to hear something else that mind fucked me? That same night, was it the same night? No, I think that was the night after. Yeah, the night after. Oh, no. It was the night before I got the big sponsorship from the anonymous supporter. And it was the second night that I hadn't smoked weed, maybe. And I pulled up to work, and where I work is not the best area. It's really not. I pulled up, and there was this guy, and they're doing a bunch of construction, so I had to kind of go do a different route. I don't know why that matters, but there's this guy who always rides around on a bike with a little dog in his basket. He looks like E.T. I call him E.T. And he's normally really, really chill and really cool. So I pull up, and I park, and he drives his bike up to my driver's side window. And I was like, the fuck? I rolled down my window, and I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, what's up? So I was like, what's up? You need something? What's up? He's like, no, why the fuck would I need something? Why the fuck would I need something from you? I was like, well, you just rolled up on me, dog. What's up? And I was ready to get out of my car. I was like, I'm not going to let this dude punch me through my window or pull a fucking gun on me in my, not going to happen. I'm going to run up to this fool, because I know how these guys are. one, I wouldn't have had time to pull off in the position I was. And two, if he had a gun. And two, like, fuck you. Like, get the fuck away from my car. But when he said, I thought you rolled up on me. I was like, that was kind of like a sign of, okay, like maybe I'm tripping, you know? If he would have been like, if he would have said, I thought you fucking pulled up on me, bitch, then that would have been different. But he said, I thought you pulled up on me, like that. So I was like, nah, man. I was like, I just work here, bro. And then he was like, oh, bro, I recognize you now. My bad. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Just kept apologizing. You could tell he felt bad. And throughout the night, he kept driving by the store where I could see him, and he just kept waving and like doing peace sign. Like I could tell he probably felt bad. He probably felt stupid because normally he's really, really chill and real cool. But I had closed up, and like an hour after I'd seen him, he came to the window and he was like, hey man, he just bought something real quick. And he's like, hey, do you puff? And I was like, no, I don't. Because I had just stopped smoking weed. I'm like, no, I'm not right now. I'm kind of taking a break. He's like, oh, okay. And he slid me a bag of weed. And I took a picture of it, put it on Instagram and Twitter and shit. And it was such a mind fuck. I was like, geez, I even put in the caption, like, I don't know if this is Jesus or the devil, but okay, what you trying to do here? What's happening here? And it was so weird. It was so crazy. And yeah, that was just a weird moment. This week has been crazy, guys. It's been so crazy. It's so crazy. It's so funny that I can just like recall my week like this. Like, this is so beautiful. I love this podcast. I love doing this. This is so much fun. But yeah, so that was kind of just crazy and weird and out of nowhere. And honestly, that's the weed that my wife smoked when she needed to fucking feel better. That's, you know, the weed I smoked when I needed to go to sleep that night. And yeah, it wasn't like really good weed or nothing like that, but it was a blessing, you know. And I have to believe that it was, you know. It's not even that I have to. It's I'm choosing to believe that it was, and not letting it confuse me anymore. I think that when you're trying to self-improve, you get to a point where it's just like, damn, you gotta just put your foot in the sand or whatever the fuck, draw a line, whatever the fuck expression you want to use, and you gotta just realize like, okay, this is what I believe. Yes, I do believe that. You have to just fucking do it eventually. And that's kind of where I'm at. Do you guys hear that? That's the government. When it really comes down to it, I think everybody understands that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. I wanted to say that like in a better, clever way and like a more drawn out way, but I kind of fucked it up, but still. Man, Halloween was fun. I felt it was really boring not smoking, and I kind of felt anxious not drinking or whatever, but it was fun up until I started drinking, honestly. My kids, my daughter had her friend come over, and that was like one of the first times that my daughter had one of her friends come over, and that was nice. And she looked real happy, and she was real nice. My oldest, my 10-year-old was 11 from Stranger Things, and she had like the suspenders and like the yellow and black like shirt, and then put like a bloody nose. She's really into Stranger Things. She's adorable. My 4-year-old was Princess Jasmine. Thank God she's still there. She still wanted to be cute and cuddly. Oh man. And that's it, guys. I guess we'll just end it there. It's just been a good week. I feel like I'm finally starting to grow up a little bit. Oh, the fights, the UFC fights. I want to talk about that. Darren Till's a beast. He's not even just a beast. He's so smart. He's a beast for being able to do, and this is just be real quick. I don't know, a lot of people aren't in the UFC, but Darren Till, I give him so much props for being able to go out there, fight the way he did, because he had a lot of issues with like getting in the country late and his visa, and then all this, he had an injury and all these different things. And he still was able to go out there and legitimately beat Gastelum in a decision, and not get taken to the ground by him and thrown around. It was a beautiful performance by Darren Till. Johnny Walker got way too cocky, and I believed his cockiness. I felt like he was going to destroy everybody until he got to John Jones. But he went in there and got his ass beat and got embarrassed and looked like a fucking fool. And it was kind of good to see that even if you're really, really good at being cocky, you can still get your fucking ass kicked. And that was cool to see. Nate Diaz lost the first 3 rounds of the fight. Although I do have a lot of faith that the 4th and 5th round would have been a lot more even. And the way Nate Diaz fights, he would have had a better chance in the 4th. He always has a better chance in the 4th and 5th round than he does in the first 3. Although, that's not to take away from the cardio and the work that Masvidal has done and how amazing that man looked in there. And exactly. And then Darren Till lost his last 2 fights, which was amazing for him to come back and win the way he did. Amazing. And he moved up weight. He did so much. Darren Till is like one of my favorite fighters in the UFC right now. For real. And I really, really hope he continues to do well. But going back to Masvidal, he looked like he was taking the streets to fucking UFC still. This is what, like his 50th, 60th fight, professional fight? I think it is. No? Am I totally bullshitting? I feel like I've heard that. Like he's been in he's been in the game for years and years and years. So either he's been in a lot of fights and he looks so sharp and so on point. And it was so dope to see that this dude who's been in the game forever, who people probably counted out as just an old head, still went in there and fucking has been showing out against the young bull, Darren Till, who I was just talking about, against fucking Ben Askren, probably one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. And after seeing the way he fought Nate Diaz, I saw something in him that, like, even if Ben Askren didn't get knocked out in fucking 5 seconds or whatever it was, he would have beat the shit out of him either way. And Masvidal is that guy right now, and I don't know if there's anybody out there who can fuck with him. I don't know. I've always been a fan of Usman, but I don't know. I feel like Masvidal will get in people's heads like Conor used to. It's like I really believe that if he goes against Usman or Colby Covington, I don't know. Colby's dope. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking hate him. He runs around the Make America Great Again hat all the time. And he's like, he wants to be the fucking bad guy. That's cool, whatever, bro. Like, I guess. But it kind of sucks that he had to do that to get, any sort of attention. But you got to do what you got to do. But he's just a douchebag. But he's fucking good. He's really fucking good. And I think that he won't give a fuck about getting in Masvidal's head or Masvidal getting in his head. He's just going to go in there and fight the way he fights. And the way he fights might be really, really counterproductive to the way Masvidal fights. But we'll see. I love where the UFC is, dude. They had this fucking bad motherfucker belt. The Rock came out to his intro music. That was so cool. For those who don't know, The Rock was there to present the bad motherfucker belt, which was something totally just created by Nate Diaz's brain. And it's just so cool where the UFC is going. And I just am so excited. Donald Trump was at the UFC fight yesterday. It's just amazing to see where it's going. And I love that, I've been a part of it. Like, I've been a fan. I was a casual fan since I was like back in high school. But now that I'm really, really getting into it and starting to understand the game more, and I'm starting to understand people who are fighting more and like, things like that. It's beautiful. It's really good. I'm just always so excited about it. I kind of regret not buying the fight and not buying the ESPN Plus thing. Because then I could have watched all the fights going forward. Either way, I probably will eventually. It's a beautiful, beautiful art form, the UFC and MMA. I'm even thinking about, I was talking to Crazy T about, was it you that I was talking to, Crazy T? I think it was. About how expensive it was to go to a gym. Yeah, part of me is like thinking about like actually thinking about training and like maybe getting into like some exhibition fights. I don't know. I know how to fight. That's the thing. I don't know if I know how to fight. I don't want to say that. I've been in quite a few fights and I've won more than I've lost. And it'd be interesting to learn how to do it the correct way. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm like a great fighter or some shit like that, but it sounds fun. I remember fighting being like a real strategic kind of chess match that I'd usually win because people were like fighting dumb, put their head down and knee them in the fucking head. Like this is like, yeah, like I feel like it was a very fun thing to do, but I was always doing it in the wrong way, the wrong settings, you know? Yeah. So it's something that would, one, be good for me physically and in turn be good for me mentally. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. I that's one of the main things that I've yet to take the step towards is starting to work on my physical health because I'm terrified of it. Yeah, I'm in Victorville, T. Yeah, I'm terrified of working on my physical health because I've tried, quite a few times lately and in the past year, and I keep failing at it. And I think that might have to do with me just not trying so hard. Like I kept trying to improve. Every time I'd go, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit more today. I'm going to do a little bit more today. And I think I pushed myself too hard. But yeah, that's one of the things I heard Joe Rogan talking to Kevin Smith about. Like, no, just chill. Like, you don't need to go all fucking crazy. And he was saying that that's one of the downsides that of people like think like this idea that you need to just push yourself as hard as you fucking can when you go to the gym, no matter what, and blah blah blah. That turns a lot of people off from it. That sometimes, yeah, just go in there for fucking 3 times a week for 30 minutes or whatever, and just lift a few weights, do something to get yourself going. That was like a real, like, okay, yeah. So, and either way, no matter what, and when I get my income tax money in February, I'm about to buy a fucking treadmill for my room. And I think that alone, get a treadmill, get some free weights and maybe a little bench. That would be so much fun. Have a workout stream on the YouTube channel. That'd be so much fun. That'd be so cool, dude. That's kind of like what, in my mind, that's my plan right now. But I feel like maybe that's just being lazy. As of right now, that's what I want to do. Like in February, I'll get my treadmill and my free weights and shit like that. Hopefully by the summertime, I'll be in quite a bit better shape than I am now. And maybe then that's when I'll start working out in the gym. But that's probably just laziness trying to put it off like that, But yeah, I don't know. God damn it. I feel so much better right now, dudes. Like I feel so good after talking all that shit and screaming like I just did. It really does feel good, man. All right. We did have an audio question, but like a viewer question, which is at this point at the end of the podcast when I'm done like talking about what I'm done talking about. Then normally what I would do is I would play a video or play some audio right here of your guys' questions. So if you guys would ever, and not even just if you guys would, if you guys can, I would appreciate it. So we have some content here. I had one, but it was questions for Monica, who's not going to be on it was supposed to be on today, but will be on next week. But if you guys have any questions, and if you can, I'd appreciate it. Send me a video or even send me some audio. You can tweet it to me. You can make a YouTube video and tweet that to me. You can email it to me. Any way you want to get me the audio or the video. It would be great, and I'll play it here, and I'll answer your questions, and I'm hoping that we can continue to like a viewer question segment on the podcast, and that'll be amazing. So, this has been obviously the best podcast. I don't know if that's obvious, but for me, this has been the best podcast so far. I felt so comfortable right now. I just screamed at the top of my lungs like I only do alone. And it felt amazing. So, man, all right. So real quick, before we end, I want to listen to a couple videos or watch a couple videos of things that I think that we would enjoy. And if you're only listening to the podcast, you should be able to understand what's going on in the video with just the audio. So let's see here. Or if you'd like to go onto the YouTube channel and watch the podcast, you could do that too. So this is called "Dude at the Rave Last Weekend Took His Costume Very Seriously." I haven't watched any of these, so I hope they're good. Looks like he's dressed. Oh, you might not be able to understand this one. I'll explain it. This one, he's dressed like a Roman guy. Oh, Michael Myers. He's just standing there in the middle of the crowd while everyone's dancing around him. Ah, the girl dancing with him. Oh, that was actually good. That was good. That was actually good. This says, father and son enjoy a snack together. Ate edibles with our parents. Oh. This is retarded. Oh my God, that's stupid. That was dumb. All right, this is called Stranger Danger Doesn't Matter to a Toddler with the Dog Obsession.
Where's the doorbell at? Oh, here they go.
Little girl at the door trick-or-treating. Did you hear the dog and ran inside their house? I'm sorry, those were great great videos. I forgot to get videos that I and I messed up because I got them at the last minute. But man, there are 26 people watching right now, guys. That's the most numbers we've done on the podcast so far. How beautiful. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Like, you don't understand how much like that really like just means so much to me, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for everything, to, you know, the anonymous supporter, to everybody who's been in here just chatting, everybody who's here watching this in the replay or listening, you know, to the podcast. You guys are all amazing. There's greatness in all of us. And we just need to find it. We need to grow up a little bit. And that's okay to grow up. Doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't mean you're a bitch. Doesn't mean you're boring. It's the opposite. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. If you guys are on Apple Music or Spotify or anything like that, don't forget to give the podcast 5 stars. That'd be amazing. Crazy T with the $2 says, thank you. You're doing great. Keep inspiring. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, bro. I think this man has donated like freaking $40 and just $2 donations over and over. That's so much love, man. I appreciate you, dog. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to everybody in chat: Polo, Wendy, Crazy T, Daniel, Pinhead. Who else has been here? Chris, Glock, John, 20, Avia, Joel, Rick. Damn, there's so many people. Marietta, Polo, J. Rue. Holy shit, there's so many people who've been here today. You guys are awesome, man. I hope we continue. Psychonaut, I see you. I hope you guys continue. We'll be here every Sunday. I promise you that. I promise you that. Peace. Love. I love you guys. Love, 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 love. This has been the Yesterday with Audible 44 podcast, and I'm out.